many of my students, even those who have used Windows-based platforms before, still struggle with file management. So this quick tutorial will walk you through the fundamentals of managing files on Windows-based computers. Let's look first at the agenda. So as you can see, we're going to look at launching the file manager, which is known as Windows Explorer, and I'll share with you a keyboard shortcut. We'll then learn how to rename the flash drive or storage devices, creating folders, and selecting files. Finally, we'll also learn how to move and copy files within the file manager. So let's start first by the keyboard shortcut. The secret here is to hold down the Windows key while tapping on the letter E, and you can see where it's located on the computer. So if I were to minimize my PowerPoint presentation for a moment, I will tap on those two keys, and you'll see it takes you right into the file manager. This is Windows Explorer. Now, you can see that it automatically takes you to all of the storage devices that are present or plugged into your computer, including a flash drive. Now, let's change the view here so you can see it a little better. Alright, so here are the different storage devices. What I'm going to do is first talk about renaming the storage device. This will make it easier for you to locate a specific device, especially your flash drives. Alright, so I'm going to right click and note that I am presently clicked on the computer icon, which automatically reveals each storage device plugged into the computer. Now, if I didn't rename my flash drive, typically what you're going to find here is the name of the manufacturer of the flash drive, like SanDisk, Kingston, Sony, right? All that appears here. To rename, it's simply right-clicking. As you can see, I'm just going to right-click on the icon, and I'm going to select Rename. At this point, it highlights the name. All I need to do is start typing, and I will just call this one Anthony. Okay, once I hit enter, you will see that eventually it will accept, and there is my renamed flash drive. As you can see, we've accomplished the first two objectives already on the agenda. Let's now look at folder creation. What a lot of people new to file management do, or new to the Windows environment, what they often do is they will save files directly to the flash drive without any sort of organization, meaning there are no folders. So let's talk about how to create folders and subfolders in the Windows environment. Begin by selecting your storage device. So notice as I click on the storage device, you can always pay attention, always take a look here at the path. Okay, Windows will always show you where you are at any point within the file manager. So right now, by selecting the storage device, the flash drive, I'm seeing all the files currently stored on this device. As you can see, there are plenty of files just floating around on the storage device as well as folders. Ideally, you should only see folders when you open your flash drive. These floating files, as I like to call them, should be properly sorted or filed into a specific folder that you see here. So files look like this. You can see each one has a little icon next to it that shows where it was created. In this case, this was created in Excel. Here's one that was developed in Adobe Acrobat. It's a PDF. And of course, there is one that was developed in Microsoft Word. Alright, so we are now on the flash drive. To create a folder, there are a number of ways, but I will use one method that will never change no matter what version of Windows you are using. Alright, so first of all, notice my pointer is in this open area. I'm not on top of a specific folder. I'm out here in the blank white space. If you right-click in this area, you will see what's called a shortcut menu. On the shortcut menu, I am going to place my pointer on top of the New option. You can see by going to New, I get a sub-menu, and the first option there is Folder. Left click on Folder, and as you can see, it's working, and now towards the bottom I have a new folder. Oh, actually I'm going to have to scroll so that you can see this better. Let me change my view to large. Okay, so what happened is when I created the new folder, it created this icon, and it was highlighted like this, giving me the option to rename it. I'm going to call this new folder, let's just call it test for now. I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard, and just like this you can quickly create a brand new folder. By the way, I am currently in large icon view. You can see that you can adjust the way your icons appear by going to the view option shown here. Alright, so that is how you create a new folder. Going back to the agenda for a moment, let's now look at file selection. So before we start moving, rearranging files, or copying them, you first must learn how to properly select the files that you want to organize. To do that, we're going to do a number of things. We're going to be selective about the files that we choose, and there are several ways of doing that. So back in Windows Explorer, you can see I have a number of floating files. So the first thing I'll do is I will select what are called contiguous files. Contiguous files are files that are next to each other. An example would be this one, Activity 2 Expenses. You'll see these 3 PDFs and then the sample resume. They're all next to each other, so they're known as contiguous files. To select files that are next to each other, you click on one. On my keyboard I'm holding down the Shift key, and then I could click on, I'll just click on the last one here, the last PDF. You can see by doing this, everything in between gets selected. So just as a quick review, I click on the first one, and let's say I want to select everything from here all the way out to the guitar. So on my keyboard I'll hold down Shift, click on the last file, and everything in between gets selected. Alright, so that is for files that are adjacent or contiguous. You can also select non-contiguous files, that is, files that are not next to each other. As an example, if I want to select this file here, maybe this PDF, this photo, and this Word document, all I'm going to do is, again, click on the first file, but now instead of Shift, on my keyboard, I'm going to hold down the Control key. Now, with the Control key pressed down, I'm just going to keep it down, I will left click once on the individual files that I need. As you can see, you can be very selective. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 files selected. So the whole idea behind this is, okay, so if you were to ask, alright, why are we even doing this? What's the purpose of selection? You need to select before you move or copy them. Alright, so my goal is to take these files and move them into our new folder, the folder called Test. And as you can see here, our target folder is called Test. Alright, just for confirmation, let's learn first how to open folders before we start moving things around. If I want to look inside of a folder, simply double click on it. So if I open up the test folder, I will double click. You can see it's currently empty because it is indeed a new folder. And you can see again, if you look at the path, we are here, okay? We're inside of the test folder. You can also use the left navigation panel, and if you notice there are these little triangles, I could expand and collapse to see the folders inside of a storage device. And if I move down to the test folder, you can see it is currently empty. Other folders that do have files inside of them, for instance, if I click on, let's go to, you can see by clicking on the Anthony's folders, or photos folder, there are presently 2 files inside of it. If I go back to my flash drive, you see everything that's on the storage device. Alright, so now that we know that the test folder is empty, let's select just a few random files. Again, I will select, I'll do 3 files. I'm going to click on the first one here, but I'll be selective. So using the control key, okay, I pressed it down. I'm going to select on 2 additional files. Alright, just like that. You can see I've selected the 3. Now, to move it into my test folder, here's a nice little trick. Place your pointer on one of the selected files. Okay, hold down the right mouse button and then drag it to your destination folder, which in this case is test. When I release it, I get options. Okay, I could either copy and move, or I could even create a shortcut here. So in this instance, I do want to move them, so I will left click on move here. You'll see that they've disappeared from the original location, and if I double check, I'm going to open up test to see what's inside. I will double click on it, and indeed there are my 3 files that were once floating around here on my flash drive. Let's go back for a moment to our agenda, and you can see that I jumped into organization already. We now know how to select the files. We have moved them. So how do you copy files? Well, very similar. You begin by selecting the files that you want to copy. So let's try this. I am going to select, how about the last, the first 4. Now, these are contiguous files. So I'll click on the first one, hold down Shift this time, not Control, and then I'll left click on the last one. You can see all 4 are now selected. Now to copy them from here, okay, this is my flash drive, and to place them inside of test, I'm just going to place my pointer on one of the selected files, right click and drag it to my destination folder. When I release, I get the options. But now, instead of move, I'm going to left click on copy here. Okay, notice these files still remain where they are. Alright, activity 2 expenses, agenda week 1, and so forth. But when I open my test folder by double clicking, you'll see that they've appeared here. And if I go back to my flash drive, you'll see that they're still here. So that is essentially a duplicate. I've created duplicate files. Now if you're organizing, you don't want to make duplicates, so that was just a practice run. I just wanted to use that as an example. Since I've now moved them here, or copied them here, so activity 2 through, okay, these 4, I can now delete them from here since they're already in my test folder. Now deleting is pretty similar. You select what you want to delete first, so I will use the Shift option to select the 4 that I've already copied. And now I can just hit delete on my keyboard, or if you like the mouse, you can right click on one of the selected files and delete them right there. You'll get a confirmation. Are you sure you want to permanently delete? Click yes. So you can see I'm cleaning up these floating files. Ultimately, I just want folders stored here on my flash drive. These files should be properly placed into the folder that they belong. Alright. Now, let's try this again. I want to move the remaining files into the test folder. So begin by selection. Click on the first file. Since they're going to be contiguous files, I will use the Shift option. Hold down the Shift key. Place your pointer on the last file. Okay, left click on it. Everything in between gets selected. From here, it's just a matter of right clicking and dragging to your destination folder. When you let go, you get options. I will left click on Move. And you can see no floating files. If I open up the test folder, there they are. And it's even better, I can just change my view to medium or even large. Alright. I personally prefer the details view because it gives you a lot of good information about the files. So in addition to the file name, you'll see the date they were last modified, what type of file, let's make this a little bigger, and the size of the file. So details view is a really great one to use when you're managing files in Windows Explorer. Going back to our agenda, you can see that we covered everything here: how to launch the file manager, renaming storage devices, creating folders, files, how to select them before you organize by moving or copying them. To view this and other tutorials and other web-based videos, go to this website, okay, course website, go to the More option or the More tab and click on Tutorials. This video and others will be uploaded throughout the semester for you to access.